Let's talk about the hype train. You know, those first 24 games, you probably spent a lot of time talking to your team and bolstering their confidence. Yeah. And now these last 10 games, you win 8 out of 10. You're the hottest team in ball. You're playing the Chiefs on Thursday night to start the season. How do we slow down the hype train, or do we want to?
No, I think more than anything, here is, yeah, you got to be careful, especially we have a young team, you know, and it's not the veterans I worry about as much as I do the young guys. And look, a lot of that goes, I've told those vets, a lot of it falls on their shoulders too now. Let's live in the moment and let's stay true to what it really is, you know, and we know all we can do is put the work in if we really want to go to where we want to go. But I think that what we cannot forget and what the team knows is, all right, who won a division last year? You know, Minnesota won the division, all right? And who has won it almost every year before that? Well, Green Bay. So those are the kings in this conference, and Chicago is loaded back up. And oh, by the way, we didn't make it to the playoffs last year. So we're still hungry. We still got something to prove to ourselves. You know, we haven't done anything yet.
Dan Campbell talking about the hype around the Lions, and he's right. They haven't done anything. That's the right attitude, and that could cause some to say, well, maybe they are ready to do something. But this is a team that has not won a playoff game since 1991. I was telling Devin McCourty this story the other night because one of the things I'm trying to get him ready for is the fact that when you're watching all the games on a Sunday, they don't cut to the halftime studio of all the games. They stay at the stadium, and you'll see things from time to time about whatever ceremony may be happening or whatever. 2016, that was even before.
Yeah, us.
That was before your time.
Yeah.
2016, there's a Lions home game. And I see a bunch of guys out on the field, Barry Sanders, Chris Spielman, they got their jackets on. It's like, oh, what are the Lions, you know, are they putting somebody in the Ring of Honor? What are they doing? Oh, they're having a celebration. They're having a commemoration of the 25-year anniversary of the last time they won a playoff game. And my first thought was, and Devin was laughing when I was telling him this last night, because he comes from a team that,
it's like they barely celebrate a Super Bowl.
Yeah. It's like, that's probably not something we should be, you know, drawing attention to. This isn't something to put on a T-shirt. 25 years since our last playoff win. But that all factors into this equation. Are they ready for this? And I'd be upset as a Lions fan. I'd be happy that we're relevant. I'm so used to being beaten down and overlooked and no respect. Oh, we want respect for the team. Nobody's talking about us. Those idiots on PFT Live aren't talking about us. Well, now we're talking about you. That's the good news. The bad news is we're paying attention to you.
Yeah.
The bad news is we got to see what you got. We got to see if you're ready. And we're going to all say, see, same old Lions if you're not. So and as somebody who loves a good story, I hope they are ready. But to the extent that when in Rome, we have to try to project what's going to happen, I think it's safe to say that there's no reason to believe that all of a sudden they're going to be a juggernaut.
No.
Maybe they will be,
right.
But history tells us it's just the way it is. And yes, at some point history will change, and maybe this is the moment where it's happening. All I'm saying is let's see it. But Dan Campbell's comment is in the maybe it is changing territory because he seems to be aware of the same thing we are.
Right.
They've got to prove that they can do something before anyone will really take them seriously.
Yeah, well, you know, he'd been around Sean Payton and Bill Parcells. He knows it's about put up or shut up. It's not about on paper or what the betting odds are or what the public thinks. So he's old school that way and knows what, you know, the proper messages to send to the football team. They showed us some signs down the end of the season last year to go, ooh, there's some things to like here that are tangible that should carry over. Now, you know, is there enough of a culture, an infrastructure, a mentality, whatever you want to say there, that they can carry it over and take advantage of kind of that momentum they had last year? I don't know. It's not as easy as everybody thinks. You know, I think everybody looks at it and thinks like, oh, well, you know, back in my little league or my high school, well, this ain't little league or high school. Teams change a lot, and even your own team changes a lot. The lifeline of last year's team, even though there's a good amount of guys back, there's still some different pieces here that add to a different dynamic of the football team. Yeah, Jamal Williams is in there, right? You know, now you got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You hope he brings things, but there's some new pieces and some guys that left as well that were a part of that rise last year. So, yeah, I think that's where, you know, going back to the start of the show, I'm interested to see the reaction They have the bullseye on their back, and that goes even into the quarterback and everything. I know everybody's on the Jared Goff hype train. I like Jared Goff a lot, but am I sitting here sold that, oh yeah, Jared Goff's just going to hit the ground running here and he's going to take the league over and do all that? I don't know. I'm not going to say that either. You know, as I've told you many times, I think in last year with how bad their defense was, I think it was easy to play quarterback and offense for that football team. Oh, we're down and we got to be aggressive because the other team's just going to go down and score all game. Okay, well, that's the kind of offense you want to be a part of. But what's it going to be when, we're down 10-7 and now if I make a mistake or don't make the right play, we can lose the game right here. And that's where I think it's going to be a different dynamic for them this year as compared to last.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.